Get more out of life every day. Picture biting into a whole peeled orange. Not a timid bite, but a huge wide-mouthed bite. What if you lived your life like that? Living Life Juicy is what that life might be like. We explore how we can be present and kind as we do great things. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Living Life Juicy live stream. It's going over Facebook and LinkedIn and 2 YouTube channels. So this is to make a great announcement about the Pottery Panda, and more about that later. But first, the very first thing that I want to do is I want to thank you all for making this possible. Now, for those of you who know, there are certain requires to be able to go live on LinkedIn and Facebook and YouTube channels. And I realized in January that I'd been totally neglecting my LinkedIn business channel, the Into Wisdom Group business page in LinkedIn. And I had a great wise mentor who said, you know, you should pay attention to that, because like my personal page is pretty okay. I mean, it's not huge, but it's okay. But man, I was only at like 50 followers on my LinkedIn page, business page. And so I said, hey, help me out, follow the page so that I could do LinkedIn Live, because I wasn't even close to having enough followers to do that. And in literally like 15 days, I shared that, friends shared it, people stepped up from all parts of my history, my background. I want to thank the farmers people and the forest home people and the people who know me through Into Wisdom and the consulting and things like that. You guys stepped up and made it so that I could go live today. And I really, really appreciate that. So what I want to be able to do with my business pages and Facebook and LinkedIn is use those pages to push out quality content about how people learn it, about how individuals, professionals, and organizations can develop. And I'm really kind of curious about all those things. So I'm always running across either new articles or developing new content around those things. So look for those. And if you're not currently following either my Facebook channel or my LinkedIn business channels, follow those things, because the more followers we get, the more this information gets out there. And I'm hoping that it sparks ideas. Sometimes it's providing answers. More often than not, I want you to be asking better questions about personal, professional, and organizational development. And that's what those channels are about. Now, talk a little bit about my YouTube channels. And the YouTube channels are all about, one of them, Living Life Juicy. I started that because I wanted to learn how to ask better questions. And so it became about longer form interviews with people who are really seeking to be present and kind as they go out in the world and do great things. And I've had just such a blast interviewing with some really interesting people. Now, I'm relaunching it, but there's some really great content in there if you want to go to Living Life Juicy John Losey, the YouTube channel. Now, I'm doing something a lot different. I'm not looking of course, I want you all to like and subscribe and comment and all that. But with the Growing People Podcast YouTube channel, really that's for me and others I want to post content that is all about figuring out how people learn and grow and how communities are formed. And so it's shorter form, usually anywhere between 2 minutes, and sometimes they get as long as 10. And it's all about being like, I use it for my presentations and my training so that I don't talk as much. I'll boil down information or content that I want to get across. And instead of taking 10 minutes to talk about it, I show a video for 2.5 minutes, and then we have a great conversation and discussion around the content, which is more interesting for everybody. So that's Living Life Juicy, is about long form interviews with really interesting people who are doing interesting things. And the Growing People Podcast is really about creating content that I can use and you can curate as well to use in your training. As a matter of fact, if you have suggestions about what I should put out on the Growing People Podcast channel, I'll make stuff. If you put an idea out there that you'd like to have 2.5 minutes on a certain topic that has to do with how people learn and grow and how communities are formed, I'll put something together for you. I'd love to do that. And want to talk a little bit about why I'm doing this today. And I've mentioned this is about a big announcement for the Pottery Panda. And the Pottery Panda is a book that's planned to be released in April. And you can see, let me get rid of the captions here. So it's due to be released in April, and it's about Peter the Pottery Panda. Peter is a raccoon who works on a garbage sorting line, and he's realizing he's living out the stereotype of a trash panda. That's where the title comes from. Is if you've lived in the mountains, or especially, I hear Toronto has an interesting raccoon issues, but they're called trash pandas because they like to play in the trash. And I lived up in the mountains for a while and had my experience with raccoons and trash pandas and knocking over the bins and stuff getting all over the place. Well, Peter realizes that he's living out by being a trash sorter and doing really well at it, but he's living out that stereotype and he doesn't want to do that anymore. He also loves making pottery. So what this is a business fable about strategic planning, where I use Peter's move towards starting a business around making pottery as it's an illustration of the art of intentional progress, using a very unique and specific approach to strategic planning. Peter plans and launches the Pottery Panda business, where he makes finger bowls for other raccoons. And so I use the story, and the story's wonderful, and the story's fun. And the way the book is put together is the book itself is rather short. Like I say that it's short, but it's deep because of what's called the simple book concept. What'll happen is if you get the physical copy, at the end of every chapter, there'll be a QR code. And that QR code will take you to all the exercises and things that Peter used in that chapter. And then that's an interactive PDF. And then you click on different links there, and it'll take you to the actual instructions on how to do those, or articles that are relevant. If you keep on clicking down deeper, you can go all the way down to where it's a full-on interactive PDF workbook that you could use to do your strategic planning. So instead of making this a 250-page book that is filled with things that you may or may not be interested in, it'll end up, I think, being 70 or 80 pages where you get to choose your own adventure and go deep where you want to go deep. So the Pottery Panda is unique in two ways. It's a business fable. It's used by a story. So you can just read it and enjoy the story as Peter opens up his business. And it goes deep enough to where you could actually use this for your own strategic planning. So that's what the story is about the Pottery Panda. Now, what reason why we're announcing today, even though it's going to be launched or released in April, is that I'd like your help. I'd like your help in raising some money to pay for the production and launch of the Pottery Panda. So we've set up a page. It's called Fundly, and let me share that. And this is what the page looks like. If you click on, I'm going to put a link in the chat. That is this is the Fundly link. And that link will take you to this page. And you can help us start production of the Pottery Panda so that when it's released in April, you will have helped out. But also, it's not just, we're not just looking for money. This is your chance to pre-order some very unique bundles in here. So if you look, Peter the Trash Panda, if you click and you give $15 for all those $15, you can get a copy of the Pottery Panda, which is below the cover price. If that still hasn't been set, that's some of the things that we're working out in the next before we release in April. But $15 will be below the cover price. Now that's the first level. Now the second level is Peter the Finger Bowl Maker. And the Finger Bowl Maker, you get a signed copy of paperback, the Pottery Panda, and you'll get a custom bookmark, Pottery Panda bookmark. And it's not on there, but we're probably going to make some stickers and stuff that'll go in that bundle as well. Actually, stickers will probably be in all of them. Now, the next level, and what's unique about the next level, which is Peter the Entrepreneur, is that we're going to do hardcover. For if you give $50 towards the production and launch of the Pottery Panda, you'll get a signed hardcover edition of the Pottery Panda along with the bookmark and stickers and things like that. But unique about this is that this will not be a separate product. This is a special edition only. It's not a separate, you won't be able to order hardcover editions through any of the other services. This is the only time you'll be able to get a hardcover package. And the last one, if you are willing to help us with $100, you'll get the hardcover, you'll get signed hardcover, you'll get the stickers and the bookmark. But also, if you read the story, you'll find out about the mugs that Peter started to make. And he stopped making mugs because it was interfering, and you got to read the story about that. But we're going to offer limited edition Peter the Pottery Panda mugs that only will come with this $100 funding. So like I was saying, if you're willing to help us out, number one, you'll be the first ones to get it. And you can help support the production of this. Now, the ways that you can do that, you can click on the link that I put in the chat, or you could the other way to do that, if you want to get my contact information and all that, if you use the QR code that's on the screen right now over here, that's my QR code. That'll take you to a page where you can get all my contact information, and there's a link on that page where you can go to the funding page. So that's the big announcement. I'm so happy that the Pottery Panda is on its way. It's going to come out in April. You can help us make that happen by purchasing the book and some special packages right now. So I'm around. If please consider following, if you're not already following the business pages on LinkedIn and Facebook, please follow, subscribe, comment, all those wonderful things. And the next thing is that if you are into YouTube, you know that there are certain levels of viewing and subscriptions that open up possibilities on each of those channels. I would love to have, definitely looking to boost the Living Life Juicy channel so that I get more access there, but also providing content through the Growing People podcast channel would be wonderful. So please consider subscribing to those channels, follow on all the social media places. And with that, I want to say thank you again for being part of this family and this launch and the wonderful things that are happening.
Get more out of life every day. Picture biting into a whole peeled orange. Not a timid bite, but a huge wide-mouthed bite. What if you lived your life like that? Living Life Juicy is what that life might be like. We explore how we can be present and kind as we do great things.